You've been looking at their form, haven't you, Dave?
Yeah, I think it's worth just putting into context a little bit, really, how bad the current malaise is at Anfield. And firstly, we're going to take a look at how they compare against the rest of the Premier League. So we've got the form table here over the last 7 games, which does not look good for Arne Slot. Previous results defined by our traffic light system here. Obviously, red is not good. As you can see, Liverpool second from bottom here with 3 points and 6 defeats from their last 7 games. Not looking good for Arne Slot. What about how Liverpool compare to previous seasons after 11 games? So this is their league position after match day 12 over the last 30 years. Now, first thing to note really is that their league position has actually fluctuated quite a bit between seasons. They were 9th after 12 games in 99-2000 under Gerard Houllier. Michael Owen ended up being top scorer that season as Liverpool went on to finish 4th. Fast forward a little bit to 2012-13. That was Brendan Rodgers' first season in charge. Not the best of starts. They were 11th after 12 games. It was another poor start for Rodgers in 2014-15. 12th after 12 games. They ended up finishing 6th that season. And then we're forwarding a little bit further now to Jurgen Klopp's team, who were 9th after 12 games in 22-23. They ended up missing out on Champions League qualification that season, finishing 5th. And then, of course, we come to this season, and they are 12th after 12 games, 6 defeats out of those 12 games. Arne Slot, though, said today that the table could look very different.
No, there's a lot of pressure if you work or play at a top club. And even more so if you start losing more games than this club or this players or this manager is used to. So then there's always pressure. But there was a lot of pressure last season as well for us to win the league. And now it's a different kind of pressure because we've lost so many games. But what it does to me, I can just do the same, but I don't have to play. So maybe my job is a little bit easier if it comes to this. Because I think it's hard for every player. If you are in a bad run of results, if you go down immediately after 3 minutes, and then you play a good first half, and then 10 minutes after halftime, again you concede. So we get knock after knock after knock, which is hard. But that's why I keep saying that, especially when that happens, we have to keep fighting, and that's what we've done so well last season. And what this club is about for so many years, and that's what we expect. The minimum what I and we expect is that we do this over 90 minutes, which is not always easy if you get knock after knock after knock. We try to improve, that's what we all try, but the conversations have been the same as they've been for the past 1.5 years. In the end, it's about doing what this club is about, is keep fighting, and no matter how difficult it is, we have to fight together, but it would also be nice if we would reward ourselves in the moments we play well, because people are very focused and correctly about the parts we don't play well, but there are definitely large parts of the games where we do play well and where we do create a lot of chances, and we tend to forget to reward ourselves in those moments, and every small mistake or small error immediately leads to us conceding a goal, and that is a very bad cocktail to have.
Jamie Carragher believes Slot has just 1 week to save his Liverpool job after a dismal run of form. Now, speaking in the Telegraph, this is what Jamie Carragher's had to say. Arne Slot has a week to save his job. It's hard to believe that sentence is being written, but Liverpool's next 3 games are against West Ham United, Sunderland and Leeds United. Anything fewer than 7 points will make an already unacceptable situation untenable. No matter how much goodwill the manager has, Liverpool Football Club cannot sustain the drop in standards witnessed over the past 3 months. Slot won the Premier League in his first season. He seemed destined for a long stay on Merseyside too. Now, just 6 months later, he is hanging on, he says. And he goes on to say, no one wants to sound like a killjoy, but the time to arrange parties in Ibiza and Dubai was after the final game against Crystal Palace, not before. At best, the downing of tools before the season was over was willfully unprofessional. At worst, Liverpool behaved like a small club winning the title for the first time. Goodness me, Stephen Kelly. What do you think of those comments from Jamie Carragher? Do you agree with the fact that he feels he's got like a week to save his job, Arne Slot?
No, I get the point with the 3 teams they're playing. So you think if you lose all 3 games to those opposition that's the standards that Liverpool have set over the last few seasons. That's not acceptable, and what they've done already this season. But I feel surely he's got more time. Like everything that's gone on with Liverpool this year, everything that happened this summer with Jota, I just feel like there's something going on in the background that's causing and affecting the team, affecting the squad, that seems to be hard to pinpoint, but no one wants to point a finger or blame it on something, because you don't want to accept that as an excuse, but potentially could be. And I think Carragher coming out with the comments now, it seems extremely harsh. I know he's been quite positive about Liverpool and backed them a lot, but it just feels like it's come at big time. Unless he knows something from internally that we don't know, potentially he's got some word that, Slot's under severe pressure this week, and if it doesn't work out. But I think it's really, really harsh criticism of a team that he knows is being through quite a lot, on and off the pitch. Where do they go to if it's not Slot at the moment? Because you look at the market, look who's out there, and realistically, there's not many candidates that can come in and be that instant impact straight away. I don't feel. I think Zidane is out there, and potentially maybe someone like that. But realistically, supposedly he's nailed on for the France job, and that potentially is something he wants. So who is your go-to person in this situation? You have to try and pull someone out of a job, and you look at Man U, they pulled someone out of a job that didn't want to go this early, and it's taken him a long time to even get to even keel really with that, and he's still getting a lot of criticism. So I'm not too sure there's many candidates out there to go in. So I think if you're Liverpool, you just back them. You go on behind, say we've won the league, we've got players, we've put the money into his hands to go and bring them in. So hopefully he can get something going. Usually with Liverpool, if one or two players drop, the rest of them will pick up that slack. And the players that usually pick the slack are Mo Salah and Van Dijk. So they're the ones they've relied upon so heavily over the last few seasons to be their walls, their steadies, their players that are 8, 9s out of 10s every week. And they've just dropped that standard. And if those two players are dropping the standards, then the people around and don't have the same stature them within the club to be able to raise the tempo. That's my opinion. So when you look at that and you feel that they've dropped and everybody else has dropped, but I just don't think you can underestimate the effect of what's happened on them. And like it's very, you can't measure it, I don't think. And how does the manager even deal with that? How does he go into the change room and say, is the reason things are going so bad and we're in this situation because we've had a lot of new faces coming in? Those players haven't performed to the level. They're at the money they've been bought for is astronomical for anybody, but for Liverpool as well, who are not seen as a team that go out and spend huge sums on players. So the pressure they've come in to not hit the ground running. Also, they're replacing a deceased member of the squad, which is it's very hard for me to even to take that as a concept, how that would play on you. So you're not only coming in to replace someone, you replace someone that's not there anymore. So I think there's so much more factors to this than just Liverpool being poor on the pitch, and it's very hard for the manager to even address it. But those player standards have dropped, and whether they can pick them up, I'm not too sure, but they're not even that far off the Champions League places. Like I don't think anybody's run away, Arsenal aside.
No, it's a bunch.
You're 4 or 5 points away from a Champions League position, so 3 or 4 games back to back pushed you right back up there. So I don't think it's all done and dusted yet. It is disastrous for Liverpool in the sense of where they are as a team and how they've been last season, but I think it's achievable to get back up to some level of decent standard and be back in with Champions League football.
That's how fast it can go in football nowadays, because even if you were super successful last season doesn't mean you're going to be as successful in the next season. There's a lot to it. Obviously, we don't see the inside of the dressing room, what's going on in the locker room there in Liverpool. But obviously, right now they're in a mental hole. They are as a team, they're just vulnerable. They look fragile. They look scared going into 1-against-1 challenges, which is always the foundation of the game. And they're looking at each other and hoping that one of these guys, will pull them out there. But it's a collective effort that needs to happen within that group of players. Obviously, there are some leaders. Van Dijk is obviously the leader. But it's going to be very, very difficult over the next couple of weeks to turn it around and climb back up in the table of the league in the Premier League, and also to stay competitive in the Champions League.
Look, when you have players come into a club like Liverpool have in the summer, some of them are superstars like Wirtz and Isak, and they were huge money record transfers. So you expect a bit more from them. Okay, sometimes it needs a little bit of time. But when others come in, like Frimpong, who has been injured, and Kerkez, what you need is, when you're having a bit of a tough time, as these guys are, what you need for any club when you go there is your experienced players to put their arm around you and take the game by the scruff of the neck and lead. And what these players are having, is a tough time. But the leaders that led for Liverpool and performed the best for Liverpool, the McAllisters, the Gravenberch, the Konates, the Van Dijks, you can just add them onto the list that are all struggling.
Yeah.
And the Liverpool captain, and I keep saying this, is for all the mistakes Konate makes, his mistakes are obvious ones. Van Dijk's are less obvious, I think, to a lot of people, but to us watching it sometimes you think, what's he doing there? Why is he doing that? Why is he taking that position? And I saw him do it for... I saw him play particularly badly defensively for Holland and Warsaw as well. So it's not just a Liverpool thing. He's struggling. And when your experienced players are struggling, then it's very difficult for the younger guys that are making big moves. I mean, Kerkez is an international player, plays for Hungary, right? But he's still a young guy, and he made a big move from Bournemouth to Liverpool, to the champions. That can be daunting for a lot of people, and you really want your back four to be, and your teammates to be bailing you out and helping you. He's not getting that. They're all struggling. And it's difficult to see where Liverpool are going to arrest this slide.
Yeah. Confidence is so low now. And this is when you find out about your players. Not when they're winning games, not when they're winning the title. This is when you find out the good characters, the players that are willing to get on the ball still, the players that are willing to defend with urgency, the players that make good decisions, the players that get round the other players. Come on, we've got to do this, whatever it is, and sort of take it away from the manager slightly and take it back to the players. Because at the moment, I don't see that. And the one, and you just mentioned him, Virgil van Dijk's performances recently, in my view, have been shocking. Even when that run happened, he still said to Konate, you should be coming across to block the run. He was miles away. He couldn't deal with that. So he's looking at other players all the time. And that's not the way a leader should be. So they've got major problems. And until they get a couple of results, the confidence will be drained further and further away from them.